All right. Welcome, everybody. We are live, and we got Kat, we got Tracker, EW Tracker. I think Kat has a new nickname, and RBB.
Hi.
Yes.
Welcome.
Sorry. Yeah. Hey, everybody. All right. It's all quiet and weird.
It's so lovely to be here. See, this is why I said before the show, we have to like save like the highs and how are you doing for like when the show starts, because otherwise we start off sort of flat footed. But RBB had an amazing day today, and she's gonna. You want to tell us that little bit of story about the Google Wick?
Negatory, apparently.
Okay, that's
fine. For you guys.
Well, Matt, you got your screen up.
She's
okay,
not
here
really
I am.
Here
I am.
Okay.
I muted my microphone and forgot.
Okay, there you are. Hi.
Okay,
okay, so this is what happened on Google. It had that wick up to like 345. Typically, like I would have sold my shares. I was too slow. I was like posting something else or watching ARM or Qualcomm or something, missed the sell. So I already had Google shares that have been in profit, but did not get them sold. So then it wicks down to like 309, 310, and I'm sitting there waiting to just put in my buy order. Well, unbeknownst to me, I bought like 1,000 shares instead of 100 on the dip, which was a little panicky. I don't usually go like that large when a stock is crashing down on earnings. So all of a sudden it just like flips. Like it just flips and turns around, and I am like screaming. So I have to apologize to my Discord if I took out your ears. I'm like, yes, let's go. So they were teasing me about the When Harry Met Sally scene, but they did not understand like what was going on in my account, because like I'm just like, okay, let's start selling. 337, 340, 347, I'm out, like gone. So anyway, I couldn't have been more thrilled.
You fat fingered a fortuitous zero at the end of your buy order there.
Yes, because I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, and you're in a rush because you see it going down and you have about, 1 minute to make that decision to buy and to get in or, not buy it. And so I'm just like, send. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just send? But it turned out fantastic. For me, was great, and great for my room. I'm like, hurry, buy it. So to see that bounce on Google was just a thrill. So happy. But yeah, and finally I'm like, oh, I better just mute my mic. Like I'm just muting my mic. I'll alert on the alert channel. So
well played.
Anyway.
Now, this week and today especially has just been, a bounty of opportunities. The way Danny always liked to tell us, the market always gives us opportunities to buy. And today was definitely, I feel like it's great that we moved the show from Tuesdays to Wednesdays, because usually Tuesday's like a down day. And then like even today it kind of carried over, but like Wednesday night, I feel like I feel like we've hit a bottom for a lot of these charts.
I feel like we carried the market crash from Tuesday to Wednesday by hosting it Wednesdays.
Well, especially for crypto, yeah.
and also want to say, like, great job RBB for advertising for your channel. I think like you're probably gonna end up having 100 people joining just from that. So.
Oh, probably not. I probably have offended half of my room, but
no way.
I was.
Sure.
People love your.
Sure.
People love your enthusiasm.
You just have such little time to grab it. I mean, I guess you could have grabbed it at 315 or 320, but where I saw it going, I was like, that's where the original inverse head and shoulder was, where it took off, was around 307 to 309. So I'm like, as long as that holds, that's just a retest of the original inverse head and shoulder, the right shoulder. And I had that level memorized. And so I was like, go. And then I was like, but it was like, wait, like that. I know that was not what I was supposed to be spending. But anyway, spent it and gone and beautiful. So
that
I'll take
5-minute candlestick on Google registered like a 11 on the RSI scale.
Oh, I didn't even look at the RSI. I mean, at that time, you're just, you memorize these levels and they're just in your head. And I was like, this is a market leader, just like, Micron and SNDK. It's led us to where we are so far. So I was like, okay, let's go Google. And I did not expect that type of slingshot, but I absolutely was thrilled about it. So
Well, I think we need to go ahead and just talk about your chart here, Matt, and then just like pass it on to RBB who actually has all these energy going on. So.
Yeah. We can just start. I'll give my thoughts on the SPY, QQQ, and IWM, then I'll pass it to RBB for her thoughts as well. But I think what we're seeing with the markets right now, and I have the fibs pulled up from from the 2021 top and the 2022 bottom, and basically it's been battling this 693, 694 zone quite a bit for the past month, and we're not really able to break free. So a lot of people are thinking, oh, the top is in, and we're going to have a market crash. I mean, this is still a very powerful bull trend, and yes, the prices could pull back a little bit too, but we'll see how this weekly candle closes, and if it really wants to go back down to the 640s or 650s or so. But so far, still trying to battle that 694 and break out. Not successful yet. So as usual, I'm always cautious here at resistance levels with the SPY, and the QQQ is actually the kind of the opposite right now. And we can see from the same fibs, it's actually flipping a level 2 support right now, and this is 605.17. So maybe if QQQ can lead the way, perhaps SPY can actually break that resistance and go higher. So if the 605 can truly stabilize, which so far after hours it is, then we can avoid some kind of disastrous scenario to crash the market, and we could actually continue to go up to the 658, 61 or above. So important level right here, 605. And IWM is also battling resistance as well. This 1.272, we got the same kind of fibs, 2021, 2023 bottom actually, and it's the 266.98. So can't break above. So we got the majority of the indices really at resistance, with the QQQ trying to flip levels to support, and so far successful. So 266, 267, mandatory zone to break. And if it can't break above, there might be some kind of a retest as well. But really, we'll see how the week finishes. There's still a couple more trading days left. And with the Google earnings and everything else, perhaps the markets can try to break the resistance by the end of the week. What are your thoughts, RBB?
Okay, let me share my screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. All right, so here is let's see, is there... Okay, so similar, SPY chart. We've kind of got this curve. We've got this channel though. We've got fibs that are holding up. So we continue to hold the 674.6 fib here. We've got 702.5 above it. Those are the two fibs. We're kind of right in the middle, but we keep this channel. So until this channel breaks, I'm playing the channel. So, I just still think they're going to go for this 2.618 at least up here at 702.5. And it may not be February. I don't know. It may have to be March or April, but I'm still bullish on this market. So I just feel like February, even though we've only been 4 days in February, it feels like the 28th already. It's just like these are the longest trading days. There is so much back and forth, and for a day trader, I think it's been frustrating because I want to have my room in these long dated calls, but it's like 1 minute we're in calls and the next minute we have to switch to puts, and then calls and then puts. And I guess if you go out far enough to, April or July or a leap it, you're going to be okay. But February has just been a rough month. But anyway, those are the two fibs that I'm watching. I'm bullish, especially as long as 679, 680 holds. So put that on your charts that, as long as that kind of 680 holds, we're looking okay. All right. 680 breaks, then you'll see me get a little more bearish. So that's SPY. And then this is the Qs. And I've been talking about this kind of, let's see, I need to extend this. I had a rectangle on it better earlier today, but I removed it because I just get frustrated with too much on my charts. But we're still in a box range. I mean, we haven't done anything since August, September. We're just still in this range of 580 to 630 basically, and about, oh, was it Monday or Friday? I can't remember. I mentioned that 629 is a rough area for the indexes. Well, we rejected that for 28 points. So, we came up, hit this line, basically kind of a bear flag, dropped below the bear flag, but then we hit this line of support at 601, 602, which I mentioned today I was buying, and then we took off for, 7, 8 points. So, we're continuing just to be in here. So until this breaks either up or down, we are still in a boxed range for the Qs, which I think we will be in till at least end of February, beginning of March. And that usually plays with the seasonality of SPY and the VIX. So that's my 2 cents on the indexes.
Very good. What about you, Cat or Tracker?
Yeah, Tracker, do you have
EW.
anything on your chart that you like to let RBB clean up? Or no?
Well, let's see. What I want to I kind of want to go back to
do you want me to clean that, Tracker?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking on screen.
Oh, there you are. No,
yeah,
so far so good.
Cat was just teasing you.
Oh,
I'm teasing.
thanks.
I'm sorry. Please.
Well, here's using the famous 2-week charting period that Cat is. I harken back to an invention from him. I considered looking at a 2-week chart before Cat showed it to me. And here's the Ichimoku cloud on the 2-week chart, and the SPY is still very much right along the conversion line here as support. So as long as that conversion line doesn't get broken, we had a wick through it here on November, the 2 weeks of November 10th, but it hasn't broken through it so far. No, things look really good. And well, I can't say Katana, but they are. I mean, I guess I can say Katana. Look, the baseline and the conversion line are right together right here before the conversion line splits and goes higher. So the SPY looks fantastic.
What does Katana mean? Am I the only one that doesn't know that term?
It's when a guy and a girl like each other very much, and when there's a lot of volatility that has happened over the last 9 candles. The blue line, generally basically just engulfs, like the blue line basically calculates like the average of the top and bottom over the last 9 periods, and the red line calculates the last 26. So if the last 9 candles is so volatile that it just engulfs the top and the bottom, and the red line and the blue line just fuses together, it just tells you there's a lot of volatility that has happened in whatever direction they end up flying together.
And the blue line is the boy, and the red line is the girl. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know who's on top.
It's this little part I put the
little. But that's what a katana is.
It's just part I put a little orange circle behind. Okay. This is the katana right here, and I'm just looking back here, and there's another here, and look what happened after that one. I'm gonna send it to the back. Come here, you.
It's just
so anyway, I think
of a powerful trend. Yeah. Sorry, Tracker, go ahead.
Exactly. And no, just what Cat would have said himself right here is where they kind of merge, and then the conversion line just takes off and never comes back to touch the baseline again until way up here in 2022, and then we got it again. So, they've moved it far apart, and they could keep going for a while longer before it has to come back in touch. That's possible. I mean, I can see if it does break below the conversion line, it could start heading for the cloud here. and for the baseline here. Anyway, but then, now the thing I wanted to say was, and then I'll give it back over to you guys, is just that, Matt and I would do these shows, and every month it would roll around. We'd say, Blonde Broker was just saying, like, February's been a tough month, and it's only February 4th. We're just into February. It's still basically the beginning of the monthly candlestick. So they can do all sorts of crazy stuff with this monthly candlestick. Right at the beginning, got all the rest of the month to do whatever they want with it after that. So, expect volatility at the end of one month and the beginning of the next month. But then in the middle, things can get a lot better. With that, I'll pass the torch back to whoever wants to pick it up.
Yeah, I can show something real quick. It's just a static chart here. I don't know if I'm sharing my screen right now.
I'm glad you kept going after static.
Yeah, well, oh, there you are. I try to keep going. Anyway, this is basically the way I see it is it happens kind of over and over again, and I keep seeing this kind of cycle type behavior, and I think that might explain as to why the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq's not really doing much over the last few months. It's usually happens when there's a rotation, and I know it's like a ridiculous thing for me to say. Like, what do you mean, like, small cap rotation? What do you mean, risk on? Our portfolio is just gone to crap, whatever. Like, if you own £5 here or whatever, it hasn't really been doing very well. Well, we'll talk a little bit about that later, maybe, but really, it's just been going through cycles, and whenever you have liquidity kind of just not being in the system yet, you have the more economically sensitive stocks like the small caps that are higher debt and more just economically more sensitive in general. They form a little bit more of an accumulation range, and this happens over and over again. Really, since the Great Financial Crisis, I see like 4 different ones of these. This was right here. And whenever it decides to break out of this accumulation zone and make all-time highs, generally you have a rotation because the large caps already has run. You have a little bit of rotation from large to small there. And when the small cap breaks out, and it actually left like IWM, the Russell 2000, like it left a gap right there that has never really been filled. Like, this is how impulsive that was. When the large caps did nothing, same thing here with this breakout. Large cap did nothing for like 4 months, did nothing for 4 months, did nothing for 4 months here. A lot of people are remembering that November 2020 was a very euphoric period, but like the large caps really did nothing. NVDA did nothing at that time. So I think we are kind of facing a very, very similar situation where small caps are breaking out right now. Large caps just doing nothing. And I think we're just still facing a little bit of a rotation. And there is rotation. I guess it can be extremely volatile, but when you actually look at the candles, like the monthly candle hasn't done anything really. Like if you look at a monthly candle, it's just like nothing. So yeah, so I think rotation is going on. During rotation, sometimes things gets a little bit volatile within, which is what happens during a rotation. But a lot of people don't really believe in rotations just because they see things that they own kind of going down, even though they've been going up for the last year. So anyway, that's all I got for now. I don't know if you guys want to talk about any specific stocks. I kind of want to hear what y'all's thoughts on with Palantir.
I would like RBB first.
Yeah, RBB, go for it.
All right, I was looking at Palantir today. Okay, hold on a sec. Just get my chart ready here.
Yeah, we're all just staring at you. It's fine. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay, let's see here. I gotta share my chart.
While RBB's getting her chart up, okay. I just wanted to mention that the kind of analysis that Kat does is so amazing because he really does look at things on a longer term scale. A lot of times that people that he was just talking about that don't believe in rotation are people that have a short-term memory for the markets.
Yeah, my memory is so long that I keep losing money along with it. But anyway, RBB, go for it.
Anyway, on that note, so Anyway, okay, so that's kind of our channel. So when I looked at this, I was what you're not seeing, and I'll have to post this on X, is my bands. There's a band right here. There's a monthly band of 136 on Palantir, 135, whatever this value is right here. It kind of wicked it down, but it's more like 135. That's what it hit today. So, when you look at this, you're like, oh, that's a really ugly, head and shoulder, which it kind of was. We got the nice bounce on earnings, which I mean, I couldn't have been more thrilled. I was like selling most of my shares at that 165. And then we get this drop today. So I'm like, do I buy it? Well, I look and I have kind of a system that shows buys and sells, and they bought this. They bought this heavier than I've seen them buy it in a while at that 136. A lot of orders came in. So as long as that holds, I put 135 on your charts, then I think this could, go back up. And that maybe, we get some sort of harmonic, or we should at least go up and fill some of these gaps in the 150s, I would think, at the very least. But yeah, at first I was like, oh, this is, a little bit of my, jellyfish charts where it's just like head and shoulders coming down. But there is a ton of volume. You can see a lot of the volume over here. So I would at least expect some sort of move to, at the very least, gap fill right around here. And maybe, if it wants to be one heck of a harmonic, then we could go higher. But I'm not, I've got to see a few more things to make that call, that would go up and fill up even more of these gaps on Palantir. But this was bought. This 135, 136 was bought. Somebody big came in and bought that. So anyway, mark it on your chart. It's a good level. And we want to see 145 to continue this move. So, we're making some progress, 135 to 140. Next, we want to see 145 hold on Palantir. But right now, it is holding this channel. And you could draw like another line about right through that gap. So that's kind of your, where we got to get first is this 145, 150. And maybe it sets up kind of a harmonic where it, does something like this. So usually you'll see some sort of W. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking at on Palantir right now, is that 135. But I did buy some shares there today just because I saw that buy come in, and it was a bigger buy than even the earnings buy was. So anyway, something to think about. But that's my Palantir.
Yeah, I see a couple confluences at 135 too. I'll just share that real quick. And using a trend-based fib right here, we can see from this little low right here to the high to the low. That's the 236 right here is 135. So 135.92 kind of got back test of that level. Also, when we look at this GAN right here, linear scale, we can see these levels pretty accurate, right? This is the orange level. That was a breakout back test, and the blue level, breakout to the green, and then back to the blue. And that blue level, guess what? 135. So lots of confluence at 135, and that's basically, in my opinion, kind of like a must-hold zone. And if it starts to break below that, then there could be maybe this previous resistance zone right here in the 120s, 122, 125, that zone next. But yeah, really important zone from what I see, 135, just to add more confluence to you, RBB.
I've got some confidence on
that's great
as well.
Oh, great.
If I flip over to my chart here, Matt, I know he's working on it. Here we go. So here's my Palantir chart. And what I've got here is sort of the waves start down here from the, is that the pandemic? No, it's not the pandemic. That's just a 2024. Let's see, wave 1, wave 2. Then I thought this would be wave 3, wave 4, and see how there's this red line, this red zone. On my charts, I like to see at least like a fibs distance between the wave 4 bottom and the wave 1 top. And we're encroaching on that now. So it kind of looks like, this would be the 3 and this would be the 4, but that 4 is getting a little too deep. If this 4 were to get as low as the 1 here, then I would probably redraw this chart and I'd just say that this is the wave start. This is your wave 1 and this is your wave 2, and I'd extend off from there. But besides that, just notice on the 16-hour chart, my moving average 300 is right. I'm sorry, wait. That's the moving average 300. It's thicker on this chart for some reason. But yeah, that's right where we're getting a test of support here at this 134, 135 level. So that's my point of confluence. And and then just doing a linear retracement back from the all-time high back to this wave 2 at 65.40, the linear retracement for a 618 is 125.22, and that would bring it back to the top of the wave 1. So it's kind of the way the market looks at this, and the way I look at this is they'll look at this and then they'll say, oh, it went to the 618 right here. But then if it goes deeper, oh no, we have to go back to this way, this look back, and then now it's 702 to the 236. That seems okay. And a 786, that could be valid. And it's too deep for the 618 of that. But anyway, it's not too deep. It's just right. The 618 would be right here at 125.42. So anyway, if 135 doesn't hold, I would expect 125 to hold. And regardless, I'm just looking for more extensions that go higher from here. So just roughly from here to there, to if it went back to 125, then I would be looking for wave 5 targets up here in the 475 zone. And that's just where I'm going to stop right there. I'm just going to show you probably like 618, 236, 1236, 764, 2236. It would be something like that if it got lower. And you're going to see this later in the show when we talk about Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about the same wave 1 versus wave 4. But I'll pass the torch on.
Yeah, what about your Palantir, Cat?
I was just going to make a comment while you've got that up. I think it's important too, like a lot of times we're at the neckline on these head and shoulders, and that's where the decision is, where you'll see the market leaders usually pull out of it and they bounce. NVIDIA has done that numerous times. Tesla has done that numerous times. Right when you think, you can get really bearish, they pivot. So it's a key area to watch to see if that pivot happens. So, they love to use that as bear bait, and not to say that they don't. I think you have to be really diligent and paying attention to these head and shoulder setups, but they can also be used as bait. So just watch and let the price dictate what happens.
Your new name. The EW tracker. Oh, I don't have much here.
I was on
you
mute.
You flip it over to me. Okay, fine.
Yeah, because I wanted to see your thoughts, man.
I don't have much. I mean, I do worry a couple things. One is, just looking at the fib here, it looks like we're just basically back testing 0.5 from the April low to all-time high. Like, it's a logical area to found support there too, which I guess gives you a little bit additional confluence. I don't know, man. I mean, it does look like this is the first time that Palantir has really touched the weekly cloud for a very long time. It didn't really touch the cloud ever since it broke out in 2023. It finally touched it. I don't know whether or not it's going to hold. I don't know whether or not it's going to bounce off of it. The week is still early. We have 2 more trading days. Maybe it's going to end up closing above of it, and that could have been it, But with that said, we did end up losing some momentum here because for the first time ever, you finally had the blue line crossing underneath the red line here since really a long time ago, like since 2023 during early days of this whole chart right here. The blue line, the Tenkan conversion, or whatever you call it, that's the leading line that usually is a little bit faster, and it broke down. So we'll see. I mean, if it was any other stock, seeing this is not really that big of a deal. But with Palantir, it's kind of run up pretty crazily, and all of a sudden just losing some momentum like that, it does make you wonder, hey, is there like a longer term trend change? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I also think I was also say that if you also look at the weekly Bollinger Band, it's the first time it's really touched the lower Bollinger Band, like ever since December 2022. So there's a lot of momentum that's been lost. If it was any other stock, I think it would have been fine. But Palantir has had a huge run up. It does make me kind of start to wonder a little bit. I think if it becomes like some kind of W, like what Traeger and like what RBB is saying, something kind of harmonic, I think it would make sense because it does need to cool down at some point. I just don't know, like ultimately how it would cool down. Like I do want to push up and have at least a minimum retracement to the mean over here at some point, but like I just want it to turn into something more. I just don't have I don't know. With that said, I also think like a lot of these stocks that are more belonging to the ARK fund, which I think I want to hear y'all's thoughts on Tesla next. I think that'd be a good one to go to. Would be the ARK fund would be where you see here on the weekly chart. It basically just back tested the 0.618 over here almost perfectly, basically touching the area over here. You're talking about a lot of the ARK fund stocks like Tesla, which has been kind of doing nothing for months. You're talking about things like Coin, which has been extremely brutal for the last few months. As ARK fund has also really kind of gone down over here for the last 4 months. You're talking about things like Robinhood, which have time we can talk a little bit about. But basically, it's backtesting a very important area over here. So I wonder whether or not this is all kind of waiting for that, while the small caps, IWM with like the financials and whatnot, they keep, or industrials and whatnot, they keep going up. ARK fund has just been ripping and it's just basically taking a break. And this is maybe the area where it wants to take a break. That's kind of my thoughts. So maybe we're seeing the relative weakness of Palantir with that little head and shoulder pattern, which is kind of what this is kind of showing here too. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I don't know. Want to hear y'all's thoughts on Tesla. I don't know who wants to go first. RBB, do you have a Tesla
RBB,
chart?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Today I was cursing Tesla because it's one of my biggest positions. So I was like, oh, come on. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right. So I had to leave my Jessica Rabbit in there, but
Oh.
So my hope is that pretty soon we bounce off and we start to move up. So I've had these I'll move these out of the way, but you can kind of see how the picture's following her curves and her gloves and then coming down here. Eventually I want it to go up though. So that's the hope. I mentioned these two areas months ago. We've just been kind of stuck in this triangle. We started to break down below it. We tested above it. Now we're kind of below it. I wouldn't be surprised if we went back for it though. I don't know if we ever get down here to the buy more. I'm hoping we get to the let's go. So these are kind of what I would say are my two levels. So if I see the 365, 370 where Elon originally bought, I have a buy more. I still think we are going to hit 500 to this 625 up here. So I just don't think the market's quite ready. Maybe the next earnings, or maybe this summer, get out of this, like I said, January, February seasonality, and continue up. But right now we're just kind of in limbo. We did defend 400. I think we briefly touched 399, maybe 398 today. But I just still think like we go up. So I have leaps. I'm not in any short-term Tesla right now. I have shares, I have leaps, and I'm just kind of waiting for it. But if I see, this area kind of where Elon bought, I would buy more. And then this is my higher target up here. So I just hope that we can get out of this February chop and maybe get some larger moves going. But this is the reality of it. I mean, this, originally we kind of had a false breakout. I sold this. I was like, we're not getting that 500. That's where it hit. I don't know if you remember when I posted that on X, the like 497, 498, that was my band, and it just quelched that move. And now we've had, kind of a move down. And now I'd like to see, this area or pretty close to this area defended, and then start to, move up as seasonality gets better outside of February. But I don't know, it's hard with the mags because it always seems like there's this delicate balance. And so like when Meta runs, then Tesla started to go down. It's like they needed to make room for that Meta run to 735, 750, or NVIDIA to run, or Google to run, Amazon, Apple's running right now, why Tesla's dropping. It doesn't seem to run with the other mags. So you're always seeing this delicate balance in the mags to keep that mag ETF where they want it. So I'm just hoping that later on that, like come March or April, that will be Tesla's time to shine. So anyway, that is my Tesla thoughts.
How far are your leaps out? I guess my question is, how long are you willing to wait if nothing happens?
I have January 2027 and 2028 leaps.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's pretty far out. Good. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, once it starts to move, then I will buy shorter term. Like the other day when Tesla had, let's see, let me look at my other chart here. Tesla had a great run from 415 to 440. Like that day, and also the 414 to 430, then I'll switch. Like I went into weeklies, or maybe I buy 2 to 3 weeks out. But anyway, I bought a closer Tesla, scalped it for those days, and then got out with my levels. But my leaps are long, and so I it's not like I never buy shorter term options. I do when I see the momentum, or I see news come out, or that it hits a level and I'm like, okay, it's go time. But right now I want to see it hold 404, which is what it's doing. It's up to 409 overnight, so that's encouraging. 411 is really what it needs to get back and hold. This could be, and I need to play with it a little bit more, but this could be a Wyckoff accumulation. Just looking at it right now, it could have just hit like the phase C spring, or maybe it's the phase B STB, but it's one of those. It looks like it just hit one of those Wyckoff big pull downs where it should start to move. So fingers crossed. Maybe I'm just hopeful, but I'll have to play with that a little bit more and put a little more charting onto that as I see it on my. That's why I love like different charting software. I have Thinkorswim and I have TradingView, and my Thinkorswim just makes me look like that could be a Wyckoff. So anyway, 404 holding is good. Above 411, 412 is even better.
Very good. Yeah, I have some charts if you're finished.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Let's put on.
That's not your chart.
That's mine. I'm stealing it. So I've been showing that if you guys watch my weekly updates on YouTube every Saturday, Sunday, whatever, you would know I've been talking about this 429 for a long time. But I did mention that there is a great possibility of going to the low 400s to get extra liquidity. And mainly because not only is the 702, the 406 down there, but also when you go to the Ichimoku, the baseline is down there too. And it finally touched it for the first time of the Ichimoku at 406.72. And the last time it did it was when it broke out back in July 2025, really. So this is the first touch since it broke out. So in actuality, it's higher highs, higher lows, and this is actually a very nice bullish back test so far, right? We do have a lot of stability so far in this 400 range and a nice liquidity grab underneath. And we're going to really just pay attention for the rest of the week, or what I'm going to pay attention to is this 406 zone right here. And I think it might take a little bit more time, maybe getting closer to the weekly cloud before continuation higher. But honestly, this is looking like a good zone, the low 400s to stabilize. I also have more confluence with a GAN fan that I created a long time ago. I think I showed Kat this a long time ago as well, where basically it broke out already. It broke out of the very top of the fan here, and it back tested it last year, and it's doing it again. And guess what? That's around 400 as well, 403, 404. I think that's what RBB was mentioning too for her levels. But I like this fan a lot because it does identify the levels of resistance and support. So it's really clear skies ahead if this 400 zone can hold. And I think that's really the utmost important to maintain to continue this journey higher. So the 400 range, 406 more specifically.
I'm a fan of your GAN fan. Sorry. Tracker, go for it.
It's a great psychological level too, just to back test 400 and they're like, no, it can't break 400. And they're like, today, just like it wicked down to like 399 and something. And then it's back over 400 again. But yeah, I can show my chart real quick.
Now it's closer to 410.
Yeah. So now, it's back tested 400 and we can go ahead and move on to the 500s and 600s. I've been showing these charts, I guess every other day or so, saying, I was looking for it to fall into this zone. I really was hoping that 420.69 would hold. We definitely back tested it, went up, tested it again, and then tested it again, and then we went through it. So I've got this WXYZ sort of an ending diagonal pattern before we leap off into the next part here. Again, on the 8-hour chart, the moving average 300 looks like it was working out as a place that the market had to test support. And I think they had to the bears just had to get the touchdown over the, just like 1 yard over to get some more capitulation and, more people that, liquidity grab like Matt talks about all the time. So yeah, this would be a great place for this to stop and start moving up again. Just ignore the black lines, the circle extensions for a second. So this is the Elliott wave. If this is your wave start, wave 1, and the wave 2 is what we just got today here, then I'm looking for a 764.382 to about 488, drops back to test support at 444, then heads on up to 562, back test to 517, and then on up to the 2382 up here at about $679. Now, what's interesting is that it perfectly matches my large degree impulsive wave setup, which hasn't, it's not going to change anytime soon because we have to go all the way back to 214 to change this setup. Wave starts down here at 136, 1, wave 2, and then so that extension, we are got 764. Didn't quite get all the way to 382 down to me, but then next I look for the 1382, which is right up here, this circle 3, which is exactly where this wave 5 now ends from today's backtest of support. And that's all I was going to show you. This goes to $1,020 for all of its extension wave 5s. And I'm done.
Meow, meow, meow.
Any questions?
No, I think it's a pretty logical chain of events there. Could always, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to show that the reason why I think we've been doing nothing over the last few months is I think we're just waiting for the blue line to kind of catch up here a little bit. In general, in a bull market in a very explosive stock like Tesla, yeah, it likes to kind of claim the blue line, the conversion line, the monthly, and it kind of likes to ride up along with it. When it gets a little bit too far away from it, it likes to get punished either through time or through price to get a little bit closer to the blue line. And it's just kind of what it's been doing over and over again during this bull market. Even here, it got dipped a little bit too far down here. And yeah, and it just keeps on. Over here, it kind of went sideways, right? It didn't really touch the blue line, but eventually, it usually does. Here, I think we just got a little bit too far away from the conversion. I think we've just been waiting for conversion to kind of pick up. And we finally have a little bit of pickup over here. Right now, it's around 386, I guess, is where the blue line is located. So there's still a possibility where it might touch it or it may not. But it got close enough to it. I'm fine. Like, I don't know why people get bitter about Tesla today. Like, I own so many other things that like have gone down so much more. Tesla is like holding like a rock. I mean, it's like the candle body is not even touching the candle body over there. So like, what are we even talking about? Like, if it goes down to 380, it's like extremely bullish to me. So I don't know. I guess it's just my horizon, my timeline and whatnot. But that's just kind of how I view Tesla. Like, it's a bullish formation. It doesn't matter like how low it goes if you have like a long term horizon mindset. But yeah, I'm just going to end with that. Let's talk about something else. I don't know if you want to just go and talk about like Bitcoin, Ethereum, because I'm interested in those thoughts. Or you guys want to talk about another stock? Like somebody mentioned Robinhood, somebody mentioned like Coinbase. I don't know if you guys want to talk about one of those before going to Bitcoin, Ethereum. What do you think?
Yeah, I can talk about Hood, and I also wanted to talk about NVIDIA. Somebody on chat was asking about NVIDIA.
Oh, what happened to your chart, RBB? Yeah.
Oh. That is not my chart.
Matt pulled up the wrong chart.
Okay, there's NVIDIA. There she is. So this was my original jellyfish. If you remember my jellyfish chart where everybody's like, no, it's not crashing. And then we crashed to like the 80s, and this was like the buy of the century. And then we've had this fantastic move up. And then this is kind of a fractal that is repeating somewhat. So I think this 172 was a buy. Anytime NVIDIA gets low 170s, I buy. It's just like automatic. I don't even think about it. I'm like, AI leader, NVIDIA, low 170s, buy. So I'm in. I think, it's going to go back to the 200s. I'd like to see, its earnings do really well later in February. And you'll often see this with NVIDIA. It will have a pullback before its earnings. It always does. It's like a clock that way. It always, or, I won't say always, let's say 90% of the time pulls back and then runs into earnings. So NVIDIA, anytime, these low 170s, that's a buy for me, and they keep recycling that stupid headline like, oh, China's going to buy all this NVIDIA chips. Oh, wait. No, we've got problems with customs. Sorry, NVIDIA drops. And then, probably next week or maybe even Thursday when Trump speaks. Oh, great. China's back on to buying NVIDIA, and it soars, and it does this every time. And I don't know why people sell their NVIDIA at this level. This is where you want to be buying. So love NVIDIA. And I think, it's going to be a big winner come mid-year. So 170s, I'll take it. Does anybody else want to talk about NVIDIA?
I just say I'm looking for, a test of 234 sometime this year. And then it would test back to about 201 before going on up to 286. And then my chart ends up in the 370s towards the end of the 5 here. So again, if you look here, this is the major wave 1, wave 2, and then the wave 4. It's got a nice bit of space between the wave 4 bottom and the wave 1 top here. That should stay no matter what. It should never get RB says every time it hits the 170, that's definitely a buy zone because it should not fall below that. And then so I'm looking for this wave 5 to all the way up to 286 next, and then extend on up 370 with NVIDIA over time. And it's got a great Matt's the GAN master, but here's like my GAN chart attempt here, and you can see it's just been falling on this is a log scale GAN chart, and it's basically settled on this this angle right here. And I don't see it coming back to touch this angle anytime soon. Not until it gets way up here into the 1800s or so, 1900s. Anyway, that's my NVIDIA comments. Any questions?
Why do you say any questions like you're a teacher? It's kind of cute.
I don't know. I just respond it out instead of just saying I'm done. I guess I'm done.
No question, Mr. Tracker. Anyway.
Or maybe, he's served in a jury. No further questions. Or he's an attorney. There'll be no further questions. Thank you.
EW Tracker Esquire. Anyway.
Enormous Willie.
Okay, did you guys want to see Hood? Or somebody else?
Go for it. Sure,
let's see Hood.
Wait, go ahead.
I just want to say, if you still look at my screen, Apple is on a tear. I think it's going to be your Apple's already blocked.
Too bad you got cut off.
Okay.
You snooze, you lose, Tracker.
So I was looking at Hood, and I'm not quite sure what I was drawing there. Like if I was playing around with some curve or arc or I don't know, fish. Anyway, it seems to work. It hit that line and just died. So I was mentioning, somebody asked me about Hood in my Discord this week, and I said it is in trouble. I did not like the look of it. At the time, I think it was at 100, maybe this 104, maybe right here. And I just said, that looks really heavy. When you have this on top of a stock, that is heavy. And sure enough, it just came crashing down. I couldn't believe the speed because I'm watch out for 91, then watch out for 84. And then my last level is 71.68. I don't know if it gets to the 71.68. That would be right here. We've kind of got a line here where there's some volume, but Hood could still, and it makes a lot of sense, go to 71.68 still. I don't know. Maybe, that was enough to hit kind of, what did it hit? 78. But I do have a monthly mid at 71.68. So if you see that, that's probably a buy. Maybe today was the buy. I don't know. Maybe that was enough because it's basically gone from 153, 154 as the top down to, it's been cut in half. They cut the stock in half. So anytime you see a 50% drop, it's worth paying attention to. So anyway, I would say 78 to that 72 may be a buyable dip in Hood, but yeah, that just looked so heavy to me when I was analyzing it earlier this week. So now you want this to hold.
I want to show Hood. After RBB talked about it. Thank you so much. So here's a chart.
Well, we got your new nickname. EW means enormous wood tracker.
I think everybody's just like harassing you tonight.
I didn't realize that was about me. That's hilarious. So here's a chart.
Yeah, that's your name. EW, enormous
wood tracker. Back here in September of last year, I was looking at Hood with somebody, did like this crazy projection that basically exactly the opposite. I thought maybe it would do this little consolidation triangle, then drop. Like I thought this was the top. And look, the exact same amount that I was expecting it to go down, it went up instead. And then where I was looking for support is kind of where it revisited now. I just want to point out that on a 16-hour chart, first off, here's this moving average 300 again, which this is sufficiently scary, I think, to do all the liquidation grabs that they needed to do. Ever since it was done messing around back here, there's a perfect touch here in 2024, a near miss on April 7th last year, and then here we are, just kind of. I'm going to consider this a wick through. And then if I do a wave start, wave 1, wave 2, then I got these impulses right here where it basically topped out at the 2382. And now we're in a retracement and a linear scale fib retracement from the 153.91 top down to this 2860. We're right at the 618, right? 76.47 should be a 618. So I would say this looks like a perfect place for it to bottom. If it needs to be any scarier tomorrow, maybe look to the 702 at 65.94, in this zone. But to me, this looks sufficiently scary to call a bottom on Hood. And you can see down here the RSI went down to 20. It went down to like 18. All right, I'm done.
Very nice. Enormous wood. Any questions? Any questions?
Do you have an enormous wood?
I'm just laughing at these comments.
Do you have an enormous wood, or do you track enormous wood? That's my question. Like, do you own one, or do you like track it? Or do you do both?
Ever since I'm out of the puberty, so I don't really have to track it anymore. I don't worry about my enormous wood.
Would you say it's kind of like a rich mahogany? Is that what it's kind of like?
Yeah, kind of like a redwood, I'd say.
I love that.
Yeah. That is enormous.
Well, never mind.
Tell me more about your puberty. Anyway, what are we talking about?
Well, should we switch to crypto?
I want to hear y'all's thoughts on Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Well, I got that Gann chart I was going to show that I was sharing in the group today. And let's just talk about that real quick. So I had this one for a while. What did you say about these charts that I stopped looking at, Tracker?
It's fantastic. It's like when
I forget what you said.
Always wondered like what happens to a chart when you reach the top of the Gann chart. You just do you retire it like a football jersey?
I usually do retire it, but I brought it back, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment, because we're at a point using the symmetry of this chart. Like every level was kind of an important level on the way up. Like the blue level was a resistance, the green level resistance. Then the next one was a long consolidation, and it took forever to get to the very top. It didn't even get to it back in 2021, but right here in 2024, it got back to it right here. And now I'm going to zoom in, and it should be retired, but I had to bring it back because we got a back test, right? We got a back test at the very tippy top of my Gann square, and that's right at 72,000, right at 72,000. And so far there's finding stability there. And the funny thing is, like, none of these levels have ever been back tested ever, just to show you how explosive it is. I mean, this one, maybe you can like argue it kind of was back tested, but really it never really broke out until 2020 right here. But ultimately, this one is the first real breakout back test only so far. So if we're gonna stabilize, we're gonna stabilize right here. If not, then yeah, it's probably going to the 60s, maybe the mid 60s, maybe 60, 66, 65, 62. I hear all those numbers thrown out everywhere, but ultimately, all this zone right now, including the 2021 top, is really a previous resistance trying to flip to support. So is it going to be bearish? Everybody's saying, oh, it's going to be a lower low right here. I mean, technically, yes, it is its first lower low, which kind of set the stage for going lower. And there are a lot of similarities too. I'm going to just talk about that real quick. Put on the Ichimoku and the SMAs here. There's a bunch of similarities, right? Okay, 2022, it broke the cloud. Okay, we broke the cloud. And then, oh, it broke the 100 SMA. Oh, we just broke the 100 SMA. And there's the 200. Oh, there's the 200 there. There's a lot of similarities how once it made a lower low, it just started to go down. So are we going to do the exact same thing this time, or is this time actually going to be different? Well, I think the times before when you saw these big drops, they already had a very parabolic move from lower levels. Like this one went from like the 8,000 to the 77,000 or 69,000. So it took a long time to even touch the cloud. This move here, it's been basically gradually touching the cloud slowly every single step of the way up. So it's not even a similar move as previous cycles, really. So it's not as explosive as previous cycles. Also, I have that Gann square I just showed you where there's market symmetry here. And also, when we go back to just draw a quick little fib from the 2024 top to the bottom there, it is actually still trying to battle that 73,794 as a potential support as well. So we'll see how this weekly candle closes on Sunday. That's what I'm really watching. But I do like these fibs a lot just because the top was that 2.272, right? And you can see how it was battling this 94 to 87,000 zone forever, right? Those fibs are pretty accurate. And then once it closed below right here, that set the cascading effect. Closed below 87, then boom, it was like a meltdown from there. But there is a chance for stability, and I'm not going to count it completely out yet. I'm going to wait to see how this week closes on Sunday, but ultimately, it's at a must-hold level, in my opinion, to avoid any further damage. And if it does not hold this 72,000 zone, yeah, we're probably going to 70,000, then 67, maybe 65. We're probably going to go into this golden pocket area somewhere and then try to find stability there. But ultimately, I think after this move is said and done, I think we're going to be closer to a bottom than anything else, and the risk reward is going to be in everyone's favor. And I don't think it really matters too much when you think of percentage-wise where we came from 122 down to 72. Like, does it really matter if you're going to buy at 72 or 68 or whatever? If you're in it for the long run, I know like if you're a short-term trader, maybe that's not so good. But if you're just here to accumulate, there's really not much difference here. So I think this zone does have potential, and I think we are closer to a bottom than anything else.
Sweet. Can I go next?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I deep teased this Bitcoin chart. Well, a Bitcoin projection earlier in the week, and I just want to show you how. So this is a log chart of Bitcoin, and this is a linear scale projection from a wave start. A nice wick. This makes a great start. And this one basically topped out right about the 3,382 around 69,000. And then so now what I had was a projection that started from this is the wave start, wave 2, and I was looking for this projection that takes us to 246,000 next. But or what was happening, what I was saying was how this new test was actually good news is that I was looking for this to be wave 3, and then wave 4 was supposed to hold up here. Actually, yeah. Oops. Something like that. The wave 4 should have at least held up to this 100%, or even the 76.4, and we got deeper than that. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what? Hang on. I just messed up my little thing. From here to there to there. And then I usually just do it like this. All right. And then so I was looking for the at least this 100 level to hold at 107,892, and it didn't. We got, now that it's lower than this wave one, the good news is I can throw this whole chart away and then make a new one that's going to go from here. No, wait. This one. This will be the wave one and the wave two. So actually, you see the targets are bigger now. So I'm basically just, and I should probably do it from this one actually. Let's throw this away, and we'll just call this, the impulse failed after the wave three top, and it couldn't hold up the wave four. So we're going to throw that away, and now this is my new projection. I'll just send this out to the right. So, now I've got bigger targets for Bitcoin. 764 to 1382, 100 should hold. See, there should be a fibs distance space between the wave four bottom and the wave one top. And 2382, it's $250,000 for Bitcoin in 5 impulsive waves. And if nothing else, wherever we get the bottom, you should see a retracement back up. So if this is the bottom already hit to this top, then expect to see something along the lines of a linear retracement, 382, 236, 618, something like that. And then the retracement and an extension is 2 more waves. It does the ABC, but then after dropping back down, another little minor ABC, then the whole thing builds up again, and you get one more set of waves higher. And that's the difference. Now it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the difference between impulsive and corrective. But you can at least expect a corrective to retest the 105 zone if the bottom is 71,704. If it goes any deeper, just one last thing, and I'm going to pass the torch on. Doing a quick fixed range volume profile. Let's take it from the April 7th. April 7th low to, and you can see all the market participation we've had over 9 months or so from that last April 7th liquidity. We've got the point of control is up here about 88,800. And then it was forming a new point of control up here. Actually, I think this is just the cutoff between the 70% versus the 30%. But it was trying to form a new point of control up here in this zone. So I would expect to see this ABC retracement, come to at least 108,242. And maybe we get, maybe we get a high test kind of like this one wick, and then a higher zone in here somewhere. Anyway, the fixed range volume profile is a nice way to just kind of look at places where, the most shares were traded at what price. And you see these price shelves. Peter DiCarlo uses these all the time, for example. All right, that's it. I'm done. The good news is Bitcoin, because we had a deeper retracement, it's going to go even higher from here. So I'm even more bullish on crypto.
As a chauvinistic pig, I'm going to let RBB, the lady, to share us with your front side and back side chart.
I know how much you love this chart.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
So we are still on the back side of Bitcoin. I have had this fractal. I moved it a little bit because I don't think it was quite right. Like originally I had this over here. I think it's going to take more time personally. Because usually when you see a low on Bitcoin, remember like when Bitcoin was on the front side, like you'd get a dip like this over here. I don't know if you can't really see this, how low this dip is. Let's see. There it is. you just get a huge bounce, like instant bounce, like, oh, like we barely had time to buy that and it's up again. We are not filling that in Bitcoin. And until you fill that, then I don't think we're at a bottom. You know, it's like that bottom usually lasts for just a small amount of time and then it's gone. I just am not filling that in Bitcoin right now. So what I recommend doing is, and you can't um, see this with the fractal very well, but you know, draw a trend line. There's this blue line here that's a trend line from, you know, the top of 98 down to this 72. Don't buy till we cross it. That's the safest buy. Is just wait until we get past these downtrend trend lines, because I can sit here and tell you I believe in Bitcoin and I believe it's going to go up, but until price crosses out of this downtrend, it's not going up. So the other thing that I want to look for that you see here, are these harmonics. It does a W and goes. It does a W and goes. So that's why I think, you know, I moved this over, is we may get some sort of bounce, but then I still think it's going to pull back to the 60s somewhere, maybe 63 to 67, maybe even the 50s would be worst case scenario. But usually every time we've seen a big run in Bitcoin, there's been a harmonic W to make it, you know, look like a butterfly or, you know, a bowl, and then it goes, you get the middle of the bowl and then it goes. So once again, I am looking for some sort of pattern there that is a W harmonic to move up. So I don't know if these dates are right. I'm not going to stand by them. Hopefully, maybe we get an April bottom. It makes some sense to me, but then I've also heard people say, like, you have to wait a year, so we may not get one till October. I don't know. I am not an expert on the super cycles of Bitcoin. Um, I do well in Bitcoin. I've done well trading Bitcoin names, but that's, you know, time. Let's just say don't pin me to this time. I don't know if it's right. My whole thing on Bitcoin is I kind of feel like the top is going to be close to when Trump leaves office. So, you know, I would be looking January 2028. I think he's the Bitcoin president and he will want Bitcoin as his legacy. So that's kind of my timing on Bitcoin, is, you know, that it will really reach those new highs 2028, end of 2027. But right now, you know, I think it's time to maybe see if we can get a bounce. We need to hold this 72. We need to get 77 back. That's the level we need to get back, is 77. Look for some sort of harmonic and then look for a push off. If you want to be safer entry, wait for a cross of the downtrend. So those are my current thoughts. Are there any questions?
Don't let me picture you as a teacher with glasses. I already did that with Tracker. I don't want to do that to you.
I did get fancy though. It's funny, even though you guys can't see me, I was like, I've got to do my hair and my makeup and look good, nice. And it's so odd because it's like nobody can see me on camera, but yet, you know, I felt inspired by the Vegas picture. Like I had to pull it up a level, you know.
It was felt in the atmosphere, but yeah, no, I'm just kind of looking. I mean, this looks like a rounded bottom here. It looks like a rounded bottom over here. This looks like a breakout around the bottom and back test the area. The question is how far and how deep it back tests is hard to say. Like, you know, a lot of people might thought back then maybe that wick was it, and it went down a little bit further by a few $1,000s. You know, it's okay. It's around that zone. It's fine. A little bit of a double bottom here and here. That was it for that cycle. Here, what do we have? We have a big round of bottom here, and we finally have our back test of that zone. How low does it get? I don't know. Does it get like a few $1,000s lower? Maybe. But that's just kind of how I see how it's kind of playing out. And an interesting thing here too is a lot of people talk about like the 4-year cycle, but the way I really see it, like from the top over here to the bottom over here, is about 59 bars. So again, my math is not good. I'm a terrible Asian. I'm sorry, but this is roughly about 5 years. And then there's also this top over here to where we're currently at right now.
Did you say you're a terrible Asian because your math is not
I did
good?
not. Well, did I say that? I don't know. Did you just call me a terrible Asian?
You're like both fields that you work in use a ton of math. You have to be good at math.
Well, you know,
I'm calling you out on that.
I get by, you know. Well, that's why I have teachers like you and Tracker to keep me on my toes. But anyway, yeah, roughly about 5 years, right? 58 bars. So I think maybe another month or two, right? Like if your timeline was correct, maybe it's 59, maybe it's 60. You know, maybe I don't know. I don't think it's going to be 69. I think it's going to be roughly
that
around
would
there.
be hot, though. That would be hot.
Could be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know
Something
anything.
though to think about. This just triggered it as I look at my toss charts. A lot of times you see a cycle, which makes sense, right? Because sorry, I'm stepping on your toes here, Kat.
It's okay. You can anyway. I prefer it. Go for it.
You have a monthly. So my monthly bands, okay? My monthly bands. That it topped at my monthly band. Bitcoin topped in the monthly bands at 118,700 to 127,900. Okay, that was the monthly top. My monthly bottom is 53,800 to 63,000. So if it wants to do a complete monthly cycle, then your buy is going to be between the 53,800 to the 63,100. So that would be a complete monthly cycle. If I saw it hit my orange band bottom from the tops, then that's a buy. So that's what I'm going with. Monthly band top to the monthly bottom, I'm a buyer. Back to you, Kat.
That's you already stepped on my toe. The floor is yours.
Well, you know, I saw the big cat dancing, so let's see it. Show me the big cat. Let's go.
I already
That was
did.
hilarious.
I already
thought I was on mute for that, Cat.
No, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about the big cat dance later. Anyway, what were we going to talk about? Ethereum. You want to talk about Ethereum? Anybody's got an Ethereum chart? RBB, you have something to show?
Well, you already have your chart up, so go ahead.
That might be a good way to end the show.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Oh, a Katsimoku cloud. I love it.
You just have your chart up. Go ahead and talk about it, Kat. Go.
I don't have much on Ethereum.
Come on, do it.
Well, okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that it might hold a 0.382. We'll see. You know, like it's a pretty important zone from before. Is getting there. So far, it doesn't really have that big reaction that RBB is talking about, but it's still holding that area for the most part. So I'm just still eyeing that area and seeing what it does. I don't have much. Like, I mean, other than that, it's still a higher high and higher low type situation until it's not. I mean, the structure really has to, like, if they really want to kill Ethereum, if they want to bring it down to like here, I don't have anything else. Like, I don't control the market. I don't have anything else to say. You know, like they can do whatever they want. But I think that 6 month all the way down in a row, touching 0.382, that's pretty brutal. I think that might, you know, satisfy wherever market god's bitterness and powers. So we'll see. But obviously, short-term downtrend, long-term still an uptrend. It still looks like a constructed market structure to me. That's all I have to say. So.
Yeah, and also if you use these fibs right here, it's the 50%, right? The all-time high to the 2022 low, it's the 50% as well. Yeah, I mean, there's confluence there. Yeah, there's confluence of support, and the 50% is actually massive. And if you actually look at this chart, it avoided the 50% so many times, like since it broke out in 2023, it avoided that 50% level so many damn times, and then it just got a V bottom out of there. But still, since it broke out in May of 2025, it has never been back tested until today. Really, today was the day to do it. It didn't even do it yesterday or the day before. It did it today. So, I mean, 2088, I guess, has potential to be an inverse head and shoulders. I don't know. Like, a lot of people can see that, but maybe I'm jinxing. I'm jinxing the crypto gods right now. They're gonna
Damn it,
kick my butt. Yeah. Don't talk about. Okay, let me invert the chart. Let me invert the chart here, and it's a head and shoulders developing right here, guys. It's gonna go straight down. Straight down to 4,000, maybe 4,900, straight down. Yes. Anyways, yeah. So that's all I really got to. I mean, ultimately, they're repeating what they basically did last time. You can see from December 2024 down to the bottom, it was 65%. Right now, from the top to the bottom here, it's about 58%. So could it go a little bit deeper? Absolutely. But this is a big zone, right? Not only is it an inverse, something we're not going to speak of, but it's also a big zone a big resistance zone back in 2023. It was basically the breakdown zone for the capitulation moment in Ethereum back in 2022 before the bull market started again. So this is a big zone, right? The 2000 zone, 2100. We're going to watch that. I'm going to watch that. We'll see how it develops, but this has potential to hold. Bitcoin has potential to hold 72,000. I think everything depends on if Bitcoin holds 72,000 or not. If it does, then things can recover. But if not, then we'll have to prepare for more pain. RBB.
Okay, speaking of pain, here's my Ethereum chart.
Wait, hold on.
Get that, Matt?
I gotta. I saw this in the background, so I had to switch it.
Stop it.
Okay, sorry. I got distracted because I saw it in the background.
So I think everybody was looking for the right shoulder. And
oh, you said it. We're not going to speak of that, huh?
Well, you have to speak about it. It's like the elephant in the room or the big cat mask in the room in this case. But
or the enormous wood.
Or yes, something like that. But Ethereum right now, key. It is barely holding on to the 4-hour bottom, which is at 2066, so 2100 to make it simple. This has to hold. If not, it's going to fall prey to the same theory that I just explained with Bitcoin, where Ethereum was rejected at the monthly top at 48.75 was my monthly top value. So if it wants to run monthly top to monthly bottom, then it's going to be closer to here to the 1500s. So right now, like right about here, this 1545. So about right there is where the monthly bottom starts, 1545 to 1069. So, you know, there's a band here that's supporting that. So that band needs to hold. If it doesn't hold, then my next band isn't until here. So very critical. You know, it's a little bit beyond my channel, which I did not want to see that happen. I don't think any of us did. But reality is 2100 needs to hold. If not, we may be another, 400 or 500 points below. And then I think, that cycle would be over and we could joyously buy it and be on our merry way.
Yeah, so basically, we're still closer to the bottom than we are the top. 2100 to 1500 is a lot closer than 4000.
Oh, for sure. Then almost 5000, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Matt,
it's tricky. It's frustrating when you have a lot of the big heads telling you like we're going to 17,000. It's like no, we're not quite yet. Like I feel like there was a lot of disservice on the CNBC people and a lot of the Ethereum Bitcoin specialists on
Everybody
X where
blames Tom Lee. Everybody blames him.
and
Do you-
Tommy. But I
do
like
you
to
have, like, a
inverse
crash
Tommy.
button
He's
you
like
can
one of
press?
my inverse people. So he had a great call on the V recovery from COVID. I give him that. That was a phenomenal call. But since then, I think he's been a little lost. But everybody goes through their hot and dry spells. But anyway, you can see where that channel was rejected, and then we've come through a pretty significant drop. We had a bear flag basically here and a pull down. So now 2100, if not, then your buy is closer to here, this 1550, or there's even kind of a box here. And yeah, it's just kind of like wait and see. But this whole theory that crypto's done and forever gone and it's going to zero, I don't believe that. So I just think it's a happy medium somewhere. And once again, you can just draw the trend lines. Draw a trend line down, wait for it to get back up here if you want to feel a little safer, or look for the W, let it get the first bounce, wait for it to come back for its second, and then go in. There's a couple of ways to play these things, but you are not seeing any sort of like here was the W. Again, here was your W. So, you just kind of have to watch for a pattern and for a formation instead of rushing in to buy. And I mean, we're all guilty of trying to buy that bottom, right?
Oh,
And
yeah, for
sometimes,
sure.
like today, we lucked out on Google. I caught it and, and it sprung like it was supposed to. It moved like a bottom would. These are not moving yet.
But what about Vitalik selling all his Ethereum? And what about L2s are trash now? Like all these bearish narratives are coming out. God.
I just want Tom Lee to cry on CNBC. That's
Like
all
Jim
I
Cramer
want.
with Meta?
Yes, yes. I just want Tom to cry. And then we bought
Go
him.
all in.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was my post the other day on Twitter. I'm like, just cry so we can buy Bitcoin again. Just cry. Tell us it's
Yeah.
the bottom.
That was an iconic moment with Facebook. I think it was Facebook back then, not Meta.
Yeah, it was. It was the absolute
Yeah.
bottom. And then
Yeah.
you also have like the guy that called the Tesla bottom by selling everything. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
just see these big personalities just fall apart, and that's when you're like, oh, got it, time to go in.
Yeah, I mean, more and more people are capitulating, but they're not crying yet. Gotta wait for that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that sums everything up. We're not going to do anything else. I think we don't have any time, right, Kat?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to end the show right at 9. I don't have anything.
Yeah, I would just say, my advice is always the market loves to draw a line and then make it really obvious and then cross that line and then make everyone freak out. And that's usually the bottom.
That's basically exactly what Kat does on X. You just described
What line? What are you talking about?
we all draw a line, then Kat crosses it, and then everybody freaks out.
Look at how you freak out. You freak out kind of cute. But anyway.
Yeah.
Emotional
market participants. Okay.
What's that, Tracker?
We could be done. I was going to say emotional market participants can look at a trend and then just assume it's going to continue on forever. Or, it'll just, they believe that a trend can go on a lot longer than actually physically can. What we do with our technical charts is we measure all these price actions and we look at them to determine what the physics of price action, what's physically possible. And then, everyone else thinks that it's just going to keep on going forever. But, they're crying. Yeah, and then that's how all those options and puts get sold that just end up expiring that week.
Maybe, Kat, you could line that up with the last line, the tiers, with the red line.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I'm very bullish on civilization and humanity, and I just look at the stock market. It reflects that growing activity. I don't just make up new wave counts. There's a method to my madness when I do these new wave counts, and I just look at how things build upon each other, like the snail shell, like the nautilus shell growing fractally outward. At some point, what's contained on the inside is just encapsulated, and you have to look at where the market participants are, growing on the outside of the existing structure. So,
well, and I think too, like Bitcoin will be the next phase of the market bounce. I think like when Bitcoin, just think about like if MSTR and Coin and Mara and all of these Bitcoin proxies, when they start to push, that will be like the ultimate push for the market. So I think when this disconnect between Bitcoin and SPY, when that returns, it's gonna be go time. Like when these charts do start bouncing, that's gonna be a really good indicator that we are ready to roll.
Yep.
Yeah, and all those crypto, all those dual asset treasuries, they're going to be huge. Like if you just look now, so many of them, their NAV is so underpriced. It's like so low, or the price is so far off from where their NAV is.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely
they're
oversold.
accumulating and staking it, right? So when price goes higher, they're going to make a lot more money with that staking rewards eventually, but not right now.
Yeah. I want to say one last thing, which is that I installed the Claude code on my laptop and worked with it today. It's amazing. It's just if you have any kind of inkling of programming knowledge whatsoever, you got to go and install the Claude code and mess around with it. It is super cool, and I found myself just like wanting more and more tokens to do more with it. And like I said, I've said this before, we haven't even touched the use case for most of these cryptocurrencies and crypto tokens. And I think that 2026 is the year that we go from the LLM, the large language models, to real, AGI agents, and they're going to want to use those tokens for all kinds of economic activity, and then the use cases will explode, and you'll really see what these trustless ledgers are really intended for.
Have a good night, guys. I hope you all enjoy yourselves, and we're gonna try to do this again later. Okay?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Good night, everyone.
Maybe come back. If this was the bottom, we should do a show next week because everyone will feel different.
A carrot and a peach.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good
All right.
night.
Bye.
Have a good night.